Another $1.2 billion in student debt for more than 150,000 borrowers all across the country. In total now, the Biden administration has now forgiven, you see the number there, $138 billion for nearly 4 million borrowers. That is, since the Supreme Court struck down his original plan. The president says he is proud of what's been done, and he is not finished yet.
I'm proud to have been able to give borrowers like so many of you the relief you earned. I promise you I'm never going to stop fighting for hardworking American families.
President Biden in California. Kevin, you've been critical of this concept. I know not the person per se here, but the concept. Why?
It's completely unfair to people that didn't go to college prior to this forgiveness of debt because they couldn't afford it. Why this cohort, out of multiple generations of good, hardworking people who killed themselves to borrow and pay back their debt, and all of a sudden, what is the message? You don't have to do that. Money's free. You don't have to pay it back, but only you, only your cohort, no other cohort. Why not give back all the money people have paid back? Why is this cohort the only one that gets this deal? How unfair is that? What kind of a message is that? I'm 100% against this.
Okay. You said this drives you crazy?
It drives me crazy. And you've said this before. It's completely un-American what he's doing. Obviously, it's a political stunt right now, but it's disgusting, and I completely agree with Kevin on that.
Is it buying votes? Right?
Well,
it's helping.
It's saying, hey, this is what I promised when I ran. Most people, when they make promises like that, and then Congress or the courts stop them, say, okay, I tried.
Hold on.
He's saying, I'm going to keep trying.
But some liberals are saying President Biden hasn't done enough. Op-ed in the Boston Globe, Elizabeth Warren and Chuck Schumer. Biden has done much to relieve student debt, but he can do more.
I think so, too. Look, I still have student debt. Right? I'm prepared to send my daughter to college, and she's not going to have any debt. But I still have debt because I rolled it into a very low-interest loan a long time ago. I don't want to talk about it. but I have not qualified for any of these programs. Okay. But look, I understand. College is ridiculously expensive.
Yeah.
And it's out of control, and something's got to be done. I don't know if this solves that problem, but I think that Congress, I think people who are in the education field need to solve the problem of why it costs so much.
Well, fix that problem. Don't have the taxpayers pay for this.
The taxpayers pay for things they don't want all the time. Groups benefit all the time.
I want to get Kevin's take on the economy real quick, but put a bow on this, Chris, where the president is right now.
Well, look, we scammed the American public on the idea of college as a pathway for everyone into the solid middle class. People borrowed quadrillions of dollars. We inflated this massive bubble, government-backed, and then people were not able to get degrees, and they were left with loans on worthless or never attained degrees. I feel very bad for those people, but Kevin, Mr. O'Leary, is exactly right, which is if you go and say to one group of people, this would be the term would be a bill of attainder. If you say, we're selecting out you, this group of people, and you're going to get favorable treatment, not your parents who paid their loans back and not the next group of people who paid their loans back. From a political standpoint, I'm sure it helps Biden to try to crank up some support among younger voters, but I think the backlash among working class voters and older voters will outweigh whatever he gets from this.
By the way, I would say when I was covering the Trump administration, one of the questions that I would ask during the trade war and all of that was Donald Trump was saying, we're going to help the farmers. Right? Like $26 billion. And the question was, wait a minute, I thought Republicans say you don't pick winners and losers, that the government doesn't pick winners and losers. And now, I guess, not to put words in your mouth, but to your point even, this is essentially picking
it happens all the time.
One side or the next. All right. Thank you for watching. And make sure you go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.